Welcome back to stage 2 of our beginner friendly Tic Tac Toe series. In stage 1, we learned variables input and output. Today, we are adding 3 new concepts: arrays, printing the board, updating SL. By the end of this video, you'll have a real Tic Tac Toe board on the screen. To do this, we have broken down the lesson into 5 simple sections. First, we will answer the question what is an array and see how it helps us store data. Second, we'll look at how to create our board using a 2D array in C++. Third, we will learn how to manually print that board out to the console screen so the player can see it. Fourth, we will write the logic to let a player choose a cell and update it with their mark. Finally, in section 5, we will print out the newly updated board to show the changes in real time. Let's start with section 1. What is an array? Think of an array as a small storage shelf that contains multiple boxes sitting right next to each other. Instead of creating 9 separate variables for our game, an array allows us to group them all together into one single structure where each box holds a specific value. For our tic-tac-toe game, we need exactly 9 of these boxes, one dedicated to each individual cell on the grid. As you can see visually on the screen, these 9 spaces start out with simple number placeholders from 1 to 9. These numbers make it easy for the player to identify which spot they want to pick. As the game progresses and players make their moves, we will replace those number characters with an X or an O. Now let's look at section 2, creating the board. To build this in C++, we use the code shown on the screen. We start with the keyword char, which is short for character. This data type tells the computer that each cell in our array will store just one single symbol, like a letter or a number, rather than a full word or a large number. Next, we name our array board and follow it with two sets of square brackets containing the numbers 3 and 3. This means we are creating a two-dimensional grid with exactly 3 rows and 3 columns, mirroring a real tic-tac-toe layout. Inside the curly braces, we initialize our board with the placeholders 1 through 9. It is incredibly important to notice that these numbers are wrapped in single quotes, like 1, 2, and 3. This tells C++ that they are text characters, not mathematical integers. In C++, single characters must always use single quotes, as double quotes are reserved for full strings of text. This simple setup gives us a perfect 3x3 grid stored directly in the computer's memory. Moving on to section 3, printing the board. To keep things as simple as possible for beginners, we are not going to use loops just yet. Instead, we are going to print out each row manually using standard count statements. Let's break down how this works by looking at the index numbers inside the brackets. In programming, counting always starts at 0, so when you look at the first row of code, board 0 refers to row column 0, which holds our first cell. Right next to it, board 01 is row column 1, and board 0 is row column 2. We separate these cells with a space in double quotes so they don't bunch up, and we end the line with endlength to move down to the next row. We repeat this exact same process for the second row using index 1 and the third row using index 2. Now let's dive into section 4. Updating a cell. Now that we can display our board, we need to let the player choose a position and replace that number placeholder with an X. First, look at the top block of code. We print a message asking the player to enter a number from 1 to 9. We then create an integer variable named number and use cin to capture their input directly from the keyboard. To confirm it worked, we quickly print their chosen number back to them. Next, look at the bottom block of code where the update magic happens. We use a series of simple if statements to check which number the player entered. If they choose 1, our code targets board 00 column 0 and assigns it the character X. If they choose 2, it updates row 0 column 1 and so on. Next, section 5, print the updated board. Now that we have successfully modified the array in memory, we need to show the player the results of their action. Just like we did back in section 3, we are going to use our manual print statements to display the grid one more time. Since we are still avoiding loops at this stage, we simply repeat those same three count lines to print out each row manually from memory. They will see the board update with their chosen number instantly replaced by a capital X. This is a huge milestone because it is the first time the game truly feels real and interactive. This tiny program is the absolute foundation of our entire game. Before we can build a bigger board, check for wins, or switch between players, we must first learn how to talk to the player and handle their input. Seeing that board change in real time proves our code is working exactly as intended. Let's continue with our code. Today, we will build our game board using a 2D array. This game board will consist of 3 rows and 3 columns of the character data type, allowing us to define and write the elements from 1 to 9. We have 3 rows and every row will contain 3 elements. This gives us a total of 9 elements representing the cells on our board. Whenever we need to refer to a specific cell, we will access it using the array's row and column indexes. Now that we have created the board, it is time to print it on the screen. Each element of the board is accessible via the array index, where the first bracket represents the row and the second represents the column. Let's run the program and see the result on the console. The board is successfully printed, followed by the prompt text. Enter a number from 1 to 9. To fully understand how two-dimensional arrays work and how we can print them on the screen, you must of course already know how one-dimensional arrays function. Links to additional resources will be left soon in the description below. Because this is a highly practical course, separate, isolated elements of programming will not be covered in depth here. This keeps our videos short and ensures we do not lose focus on the main project. We now have our board displayed. The player can enter their number and it is time to update the selected cell of the board. To update the player's input with an X representing our player's selection on the board, we have to check which specific cell has been selected. First, we check if the entered number is equal to 1. If it is, then the board at row index 0 and column index 0 will be updated with an X. We will copy this logic for every single cell on the board. Yes, in total, we will write 9 individual checks for each cell on the board. In Visual Studio, there is a great shortcut key, Ctrl D, which allows you to duplicate a single row or multiple rows instantly. To copy a row, simply use Ctrl D and it will duplicate the entire row where your cursor is currently positioned. Now let's start changing the numbers inside all of our if checks. Yeah, let's edit the comments for each row as well to keep things clean. For multiple rows, just select them and press Ctrl D again. This will instantly duplicate all of your selected rows. It is an incredibly useful shortcut. Let's continue editing the numbers in the if additions, updating the array row indexes, and updating the comments. We are doing all of these steps again, copying the selected rows using Ctrl D. We have used this shortcut key a few times now, so it would be a great idea to add a comment about this shortcut for quick reference the next time we need it. Let's continue editing the board index numbers and the comments. Let's run the program to check how it is working so far. I want to select the second cell of the board, so let's press 2 and hit enter. As you can see, we only see the message your number is 2 and then the program just ends. This happened because even though we successfully updated the second cell in memory, we did not print the board again to display this update to the player. Print the board immediately after these conditional checks. We will navigate back to the beginning of the program where we already printed the board. Copy all of those cout statements and paste the code right here. We are reusing this part of the code for now, but in the future we will discuss why this is generally a bad programming practice and how to handle it properly. Let's run it again. Let's type 2 and hit enter. Here we go, it is working perfectly, but we do have a small formatting bug to fix. If you remember from our previous video, we introduced how to print text on a brand new line. Do you remember how to do that? Let's go back to the code where we print the number and add an end line. That's it. Now let's test it again. Run the program, type 2, and you will see the bug is completely fixed. The updated Tic Tac Toe board is successfully displayed, and we can clearly see it on a fresh line right after the number we entered. Everything works exactly as it should. Congratulations! You have successfully extended the code from our previous stage by adding a 2D array and printing the board to show it to the player before they make a choice. After receiving the player's input, we checked each individual cell of the board, updated only the selected cell with our player's sign, and finally printed the board once more to display the update. And that brings us to the end of our lesson. Stage 2 is officially complete. Next time we are going to take everything we built today and make the game fully playable by introducing a game loop and supporting 2 players. Just like today, we will only introduce 3 new concepts to keep it super beginner friendly. If you appreciate this visual, step by step approach to learning code, please consider supporting the channel so I can continue creating unique tutorials tailored just for beginners. I truly care about making programming approachable and providing a different, easier way of tutoring that respects your time and learning pace. Your support means the world to me and helps me keep building this curriculum for you. Thank you so much for watching. Keep practicing your code, and I will see you in stage 3.